All right, today we're gonna learn how to do Smiths and Feebles. I'm gonna show you how to get into them smoothly, what angles you should go at, what inputs you should do, all that good stuff. So let's start with learning how to do a frontside Smith. So if you don't know what a frontside Smith is, a frontside Smith is your back truck is on the rail and your front truck is dipped down off to the side on the same side that you approach the rail. So I approach the rail on the left side, which means I'm gonna push my front truck over to the left side and have it dip down while the back truck is on. Now for this trick, the inputs you want to do is straight down and push your front foot over to the left, or to the right if you're goofy, or to the right if you're going backside. However, Smiths aren't locked to like this specific input right here. You can go at the rail at this angle right here and still get a frontside Smith just by telling your feet where to go. See, I got a front lip all the way over there. But if I do the same thing and pop maybe just a little bit earlier and go slower, my back truck won't go as far. And you see I got into the Smith, and I can, you can tweak it around if you need to and pop out of a lip slide. So it's just a matter of telling the game what feet need to have pressure and where they need to go. So yeah, like there, I'm kind of more outwards instead of being like straight like this. So I'm going at this angle right here. What I did was when I popped, I shifted my back foot over a little bit and then shifted my front foot over the other way. You're just trying to get your truck onto the rail. And then to get out, all you do is just kind of let it go and you can push the trigger to get out a little bit straighter. Another way you can get into Smiths is if you do a straight down and up input and then push the trigger, you can still get a Smith. It is a little bit challenging to get it with the triggers, but if it works for you, I mean, it works. I pushed the trigger a little bit too hard there, but it's still technically a Smith. Not a good looking one. So let's do a backside Smith this time. I'm going to approach the rail at a little bit of an angle and then shift my feet after I pop. So this time I shifted my back foot over to the left and then I shifted my front foot over to the right. I wasn't going fast enough, so let's do it a little bit faster. And then shift over, boom. So as I popped, I shifted my back foot and then shifted my front foot out of the way so that the truck dips down on the same side that I approached it. Held the sticks down to keep the pressure and then just rode off. You don't have to shift your back foot at all. You can like keep your back foot straight down. It's just a habit I have to move both feet. So if I pop and then just move my front foot out of the way, you should still get a Smith. It might actually be a little bit easier doing it that way. Also, if you push your front foot like just slightly out of the way instead of like really far out of the way, you're gonna get it a little bit closer to the rail. So your back Smiths or front Smiths can look like this. It all depends on how far you push your stick over. Or midway through the trick, you can always like push the trigger and then push it up against the rail. So same as front side, you can go at whatever angle you want as long as you get your back truck on and your front truck out of the way. It's not locked to one specific input. If you happen to be skating a spot that you can't get an angle on the ledge of the rail and turning your feet doesn't get you any closer to the ledge, what you can do is you can do left or right pop. So you can either pop over to the right or you can pop over to the left. To be able to do that, you have to have board control mode on. You have to make sure that's on. So there's two different positions you can do. You can do all the way to the right, which will give you a much further over pop. Or you can do slightly to the right, which won't pop you as far over. So from here, I'm going to set my back foot all the way over to the right to give me a further over pop. And then when I pop, I want to apply pressure on the back foot by pushing down and then shift my front foot over to the left. Pop. And then there you go. I shifted it over to the left. So we can see the pop over to the right. And then my front foot is shifting over just a little bit to get out of the way so it doesn't land on the ledge. Back foot lands on the ledge and front foot stays dipped down. I'm going to do the exact same thing for a backside Smith. So all the way to the right if you need a far pop over. And then when I pop, I'm going to push my front foot over to the right and then make sure my back foot is down. Also, your truck tightness does affect how much pinch you get for the Smiths and Feebles and crooks and every other grind. And your wheel size does affect how much pinch you get too. I think that's pretty much it for the Smith grinds. Now we're going to get into the backside Feebles and frontside Feebles. These ones are actually a little bit harder to get because you have to make sure that your back truck gets at least on top of the rail and then your front truck is over the rail on the other side. So you might have to go at a harsher angle for this one. It's not as easy to get as a front Smith. So if you don't know what a Feeble is where your back truck is on the rail and then your front truck is dipped over on the opposite side of which you popped. So for the frontside Feeble, I popped on the left side of the rail. I want my front truck to be on the right side of the rail and dip down with my back truck on the rail. Backside Feeble, you're going to dip your front foot behind you like that. So you get your back truck on the rail and front foot is dipped behind you on the other side of the rail. Now, how do we do this? Same thing as with the Smiths, except the other way. So for a frontside Smith, I would have pushed my stick over to the left. But for a Feeble, I pushed my stick over to the right. So while approaching this, you definitely want to have more of an angle. Think of it as if you were like ollie over it, because if you don't get enough angle, you're probably going to willy. You have to get your back truck above the rail. And it's a little bit easier to get your back truck above the rail for a Smith because you're kicking your back foot over. But for this one, you definitely want to go at more of an angle. You can still use the left and right pops too. But for this, it's all about what angle you go at. And just like the Smith, if I go at a way harsher angle, I'm going to have to adjust my sticks accordingly. So you can still get a Feeble. I did a 50-50 input, straight down, straight up. Because if I went at an angle like that and did what I would normally do for a frontside Feeble, which is push the front stick over to the right, I would have landed in a board slide. But if you wanted this Feeble to be a little bit closer to the rail, like the front truck closer to the rail, you would have shifted your front foot over to the left slightly. So this frontside Feeble right here, the front truck was a lot closer to the rail than my previous one, which the front truck was a little bit further away from the rail. For the backside Feeble, again, you're going to want to make sure you go at a little bit of an angle and input the sticks. So down on the back foot, or, you know, depending on your angle, slightly over to the left or right. And then push your front foot over to the left or straight up. It all depends on the angle you go at. So Feebles on ledges, obviously you want to go at an angle to be able to get your back truck on. And they look pretty good on ledges too. You just do the exact same thing as if you were to do it on a rail. Just get your front foot out of the way, make sure there's pressure on the back foot, and yeah, just ride it out. If you're parallel to the ledge and you can't get an angle on it, just use the left or right pop to be able to get you into the Feeble. As long as you get your back truck over, that's what your goal is. Get your back truck above the ledge. And make sure your front truck's not grinding. It's just kind of off to the side. Ooh. Hang on, I want to get that 180 out a lot smoother. So I'm going to try this again. Ooh. So getting into Feebles and Smiths is a little challenging at first because you have to learn like which angles you should go at and which inputs work with which angle. So for here, I feel like I'm going to be too far away. So I use my left and right pop to get into that Feeble. So if I wanted to front Feeble this rail, maybe a heel flip front Feeble, I know that my speed and my angle is good. So I don't need to adjust anything. And for here, I should be able to get, yep, back Smith. Once you learn how to maneuver your feet in the way that you want, you should be able to get them pretty easily. Like however you want, whenever you want. Yeah, it just takes practice. And then I'll do a switch Smith there. Oop. All right, that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully this tutorial helped you out. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments and I'll try my best to help you out. But until next time, this is JL Nightmare and you'll see me in the next video.